All right, the schedule in the 4 to 6 classroom is so important. If you've worked with this age group for any length of time, you know that in order to be successful, you need a schedule. These little guys, they like to know that what's coming and when it's coming. And so when we have a good schedule, they thrive and you will thrive as a classroom teacher. So the schedule in the 4 to 6-year-old classroom is free play for about 15 to 20 minutes. As kids are checked in, they have several different activities that they're able to play with. There's large, super large Connect 4, there's caterpillars that they can crawl through, there's slides, there's toys that they can play with. And as a teacher and with all your teachers, you want to be using that time to connect with the kids, get to know them, laugh with them, play with them. You will be so glad you did when it comes to circle time later. If you have to correct behavior, you'll be so glad that you put in the time to develop a relationship in that 15 to 20 minutes. It's not the time to be prepping your lesson. That should have already been done earlier in the week. This is such an important time, this free play time, for them to build relationships and for you to build relationships with them. After about 15-20 minutes, you'll put on the cleanup song, which is all in ProPresenter. You'll want to check out another video later that shows you ProPresenter and goes through detail of what happens in ProPresenter for our lesson schedule. But for this purposes, we're just going to give you an overview of the schedule. So free play, then put on the cleanup song and all the kids clean up, and then they come to the circle, or we call it circle time, but really it's in rows time. And they're going to sit on one of these dots. Typically, you would make the dots larger and longer if you have more kids, and shorter and smaller if you have less kids. But I put like colors in a row. The kids get to sit on the dots, but what that means is if they're on a red dot, then later, after circle time, when they're going to small group time, they know that they're in the red small group. Same, these kids are in the yellow group, and these kids are in the green group. And my teachers and assistants have already been assigned pre-class their small group for the day. So if I am the yellow small group leader, I'm going to be sitting with the yellow small group, and I'll be able to help manage and correct behavior during the lesson, but then also build that relationships, because later I'm going to be doing small group time with these yellow kiddos here. So you'll do circle time, you'll do the whole ProPresenter lesson. Part of that is during the welcome time, you will be passing out the brown bags that you created at check-in. And these brown bags are given to every kid to hold their prizes. Some of the behavior management that we use in the 4 to 6-year-old classroom is positive reinforcement. And so every child has a bag. And if the child is doing a great thing during the circle time, like putting bubbles in their cheeks to be quiet, or raising their hand, or sitting on their dot, then our teachers and assistants can give them prizes, ranging from whatever you find at the dollar store, or what's that website, that Oriental Training has so many great things. But in this bucket, I have little bracelets and stickers and lollipops and rings. And as kids are doing a great job, then we can take positive reinforcement and put it in their bags. Of course, we explain to them that they don't eat any of it during church until snack time. Maybe they can have one piece, but that is kind of the organizational tool for that, so that you pass out the bags. And then you'll do your lesson, which again, like I said, check out that video. We'll go in detail about what happens during the lesson. After circle time, then it's small group time. And here at Binghamton, I got these little buckets from the dollar store for my small group leaders. So you, at your location, you can use whatever type of bucket you want. But in each bucket is crayons, laminated pictures of the Bible story that we've already talked about in the lesson, the small group leader guide, and coloring sheets. You should receive these weekly in your weekly email that you get from me or from your coordinator. But at that time, the small group then would go to the designated small group table, and the small group leader would share again the story with the kids. Or if it's the second or third week of this story, because we do the story for the whole month, then maybe have the kids tell you what's happening in these pictures, asking them remembering questions. You have a guide here, so you don't have to make up questions on your own. You can look at the guide and use that to ask your questions. All the while, the kids are coloring these interactive adventure books that they get to color. Once they've colored, then you'll want to make sure that the kids have all brought their bags to the small group table with you. Once they've colored and you feel like you've had a great small group discussion time, then you can have each child put their paper into their bag, and we set all the bags up on a table that is by the checkout door. That's just for organization purposes. Oftentimes, if they've come in with a coat, we try to put that coat by that bag, or a toy or something. We try to just make sure it's all organized so that the checkout process goes well. Once small group is over, then they have free play until checkout time.